All right, and we are live. All right. Fallout Double or Nothing. We are back, scheduled for one fall. I'm Patrick alongside Val and Shaggy, and returning this week.
Yeah,
We had
yeah.
him on like 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago or something like that. I don't know. I smoke too much weed, but Doug from Reddit, welcome back to the show. It's glad to have you back on the show, dude.
I'm glad to be back. This is fun. I wanted to come back.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Sweet.
Yeah, so I saw that you were out there in Las Vegas and everything, and man, it looked like a gift and a curse, a gift and a curse out there because man, it's been a rough week, man. It's been a rough week, and even though AEW Double or Nothing was incredible, man, it's the fans that's making it so hard to relish in the victory or per se, so
I agree.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So how was your experience out there, before we get into talking about Double or Nothing?
Generally, I thought it was a fun time. Absolutely. So I went to Starcast again as soon as I got there on Saturday morning just to check that out.
Yeah.
And it was very similar to when it was here in Chicago. I think it was about the same setup, same kind of deal, nothing really different.
Yeah.
But generally, Vegas I thought was a good time. They had it at Caesar's Palace, so everything was just kind of somewhat walkable. But I'll say this though, it was a really rough weekend to get to Las Vegas, just because Memorial Day weekend
man.
it was.
Ooh, yeah.
Can I
was a
tell you?
nightmare.
Okay, so sorry I sound like I'm in a tunnel because I kind of am. I'm in a hotel in Milwaukee right before a roller derby tournament, so I might actually cut out relatively soon. But I was a part of a punk rock bowling tournament for years and years and years and years, like over a decade. And at some point, they moved it from the middle of winter, which who doesn't want to go to Vegas in the middle of winter, right? No matter where you live, to Memorial Day weekend. And the flights are astronomical. And it's one of the biggest partying weekends in Vegas. So there's never any hotels that are affordable. And if you're not with like a group block, you're screwed. I know people that spend thousands of dollars just going to Vegas that weekend. So, I mean, it's crazy expensive that weekend.
I have trashed my budget for the month of May. I will be taking the next 2 months to repair that damage, but it was worth it.
Oof.
Overall, it was totally worth it. It's a
Doug,
great
you
time.
sound like me. You sound like me when I left Chicago for All In. Like I was broke when I got back home.
Yes, absolutely. Where's home?
Well,
So it's funny that you actually mentioned this because I hear tell that you're a AEW fan. I am actually in the probably not even 15 minutes away from AEW's home office here in Jacksonville, Florida.
Oh, perfect. So I assume you're going
Yeah,
to
you got
fight
it
for the
good.
fallen.
Oh, buddy, best believe soon the tickets went on sale.
Yeah, man, you lucky, man, lucky.
I was
as
there
hell.
at the
That's all I'm
rally,
saying.
and I would have been a Double or Nothing if I didn't go to Mania that earlier that year. So
Yeah, good
And
friend.
see,
My friend that I went to Double or Nothing with. She's going to be flying out to Jacksonville as well, so she'll be there too.
nice. I can give you guys areas of town to stay the hell out of, and also like the quickest way to get to the beach from
think
the
yeah.
stadium.
She'll appreciate that.
Mhm.
Yeah, man. So, yeah, just looking at the coverage and everything, and just seeing all the you know, post AEW stuff like Mark Henry being there and interviewing people, man. Like it's kind of crazy, kind of seeing that stuff. It's like, man, is it kind of tabooed, especially like Mark Henry? But first of all, no one's going to say shit to Mark Henry. He's the world's strongest man until the end of time. But it's just so crazy, just seeing how they have their Starcast stuff and their interview stuff set up as if it was kind of like sports, like basketball, hockey, all that stuff, all the post game stuff. I'm really a big fan of that. And seeing that you were at Starcast and being in, I hate saying neck beards because I feel like some people are offended by that word.
No, but no. But hang on. I mean, it's fair. I mean, it's a way to describe a portion of our people. And I don't think it's like a derogatory. Well, I guess it is. It is. It is.
Well, yeah, and here's the
like, well, I was just going to say, I was talking about it before you got on, Doug. I was like, you're one of the people that makes me proud to be a Lady Mark, because like we dork out, we mark out, we love our wrestling. We like are, I think, kind of smart about it. And then sometimes a little ridiculous too. But everybody's like, oh, that fucking mark. And to me, it's like being a mark is like a badge of honor, especially being a Lady Mark, because unfortunately there's not a lot of Lady Marks out there. But being
a mark is fired. Being a neckbeard. Now, well, there's multiple levels of neckbeardness. All right, Shaggy, he's a good neckbeard. I'm a good neckbeard. I have a beard.
I'm a great neckbeard.
Man,
Smooth.
if you keep drinking Malort, you'll definitely have a neckbeard.
You know what? I don't even have any Malort this weekend in Milwaukee. Good. I'm gonna have to go find Shaggy. Good. I'm gonna go have to find some.
Well, so, I'll tell this. As we go through the Double or Nothing card, I'll kind of talk about some of the fan interactions I saw at the show and different chants and things like that. That some good, some bad, and most good.
Yeah.
As those come up, I'll bring those up. But I want to go ahead and kind of talk about what you were talking about with the press conference setup, because that was honestly one of my favorite parts of Double or Nothing, and I think this is one of the things that is really setting. That AEW needs to lean into, because this really set them apart. This idea where they actually had like a press pool. They had locker room scrums where you can go ahead and ask them questions, and they had the actual journalists and reporters going up to them and asking questions on the spot, and the answers were kind of a mixture of work and shoot. And it was really cool to see it that way, and it was so authentic, because I couldn't find any of those interviews unless I actually went to the actual the actual website of the news, the news website. It's not like you go to like www.com and just look up all their their backstage stuff that they film themselves and don't even pretend that it's actually a legitimate a legitimate news reporting. Unlike AEW, where it actually is a legitimate news reporting, where they're taking it seriously, and I really appreciated that, and it went a long way.
So, Doug, I got a question for that, man. And I actually was going to ask this question later when we covered the show. Do you think that it actually has more? Now, granted, they're trying to do more of the sports thing, but to me, it screams New Japan, because these are things that New Japan has always done with all their events, with their press releases, like before and after the events and everything else, albeit not as pressed on as AEW, because we're in America. Because being in America, it'll be different on how you're going to handle your stuff. But it really screamed to me like they took everything they got from being in Japan and brought it over to America for a fresh new idea.
Well, hang on a second. I think part of that also is because what city was it in? That was in Vegas. That's a big fight town. It had a big fight feel to me. Like every interview I saw, everything I saw, I was just like, it felt like an authentic sporting event, not just sports entertainment. But that's just my opinion. I mean, I think it definitely influenced the New Japan, but also the fact that their first debut was in Vegas.
Well, to go on from that though, you forget that Japan treats wrestling as sport.
Correct.
Not like entertainment purposes whatsoever. It's a legit sport to them. They cover it in their newspapers and all that. But you know what I'm getting at.
I think you're right. I think it in a sense. I think that it was definitely a lot closer to New Japan than most other big time American promotions I've seen. But I'll say this: there were a couple things that were different. They still had some semblance of American wrestling in there. They still had the one backstage segment with Kylie and the librarians, which I'll be honest, I think one of the big benefits that AEW has is they have Being the Elite, and they can keep some of that stuff on Being the Elite and try to keep the actual shows a little bit more sports oriented. But at the same time, they can still do some of that goofy stuff on there, and because then they can have the best of both worlds. But
Michael Nakazawa.
Yeah, exactly. Michael Nakazawa was one of the most He was one of the most over people in that building, and the only time anyone ever saw him probably was on Being the Elite. But the one thing that I will say, and I think Val was maybe alluding to this a little bit, that not only I think this is where Cody comes in, especially. People always talk about how wrestling is like it's like a circular process where it keeps like going back.
It's cyclical.
Yeah, cyclical. Thank you.
I got you, brother.
And I think that's true, but I think the difference is a lot of people think wrestling started in like 1980 or the 1980s. So it's like everything goes to Hulkamania, and then it goes to Attitude Era, then it goes to Modern Era, then it goes back to Hulkamania. What they did is they went back to like the 1970s. Like this was like 1970s Southern style wrestling where you're seeing it taken as a serious sport.
Hell yeah.
Now, the New Japan influence, I thought they were going to lean into New Japan. They clearly did. I mean, that's where they came from.
That's why I wanted to ask, and that's why I wanted to ask that question kind of later. But the way we're talking now, it's like might as well just ask it. We'll dive into the other stuff. It's just that a lot, and I didn't talk over you either, man. I apologize. One of the things I did want to ask you on top of that too, because with that, they're just trying to bring that New Japan feel of coverage and bringing and Americanizing it, you know? Like I'm not gonna say colonizing it because that's asinine. I didn't mean that, but no, they're just taking it and just making them their own. Okay, all right, yep, all right, fine, I'll take it, whatever.
That's what's up.
Yep, like I'll take it, but no, that's But that's kind of what I was getting at too, and I did want to get just the rest of your opinion on that because, like, it's from what my colleagues tell me. You're very knowledgeable, like I am, on the stuff, and we pick up on a little shit like that. So, just get your opinion on that.
Yeah, I do, and I will say this: when the promotion first was announced, I was wondering if they were going to lean into one of the things that not just New Japan, but Dragon Gate. You could even take a look at some Joshi promotions like Stardom, where they all lean into like the unit system where they have factions. And I was kind of wondering if that's the direction they were going to go, since they already have the Elite faction. They're going to have the Lucha Brothers, could be a tag team. Maybe they'd bring in would they go that route where they have these factions so that they could save? Because that's the one benefit of New Japan has with their faction system, is that they can save their big time matches because they can always use these multi-man tags within the factions, and it makes sense storyline wise. It's not like WWE where every time they have to throw a tag team together with multi-mans, they need to have some type of backstage segment to justify it. So I wondered if that's the direction they were going. It doesn't look like that is, but it's a one show in, so it's kind of hard to tell at this point. Yeah, well, but I do agree that they are leaning into it.
I also feel like it's going to have more that, again, big fight feel because of the Vegas factor and where their debut was, but also really because the financial backing of AEW is primarily from a family that owns successful sporting clubs. So of course they're going to want it.
Not as successful.
Well, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Hold on, wait a minute.
Have you seen this tattoo ever, my friend?
I've seen it. At least played in Super Bowl. We've only kind of all right. So
on January the 26th of 1986, when I was 7 years old, I'll never forget it. However, I'm just saying
how old I was.
You were younger than me, Patrick. So shut up.
I know.
But point being is, I mean, the fact that the financial guru or whatever behind this is the Khan family, and that their business is what's sporting and good. So I would think that they want to make it more polished and more athletic than, like you said, just these backstage segments thrown together just to make a story click for one night, and then maybe we never revisit it again. And one of the reasons why I'm so excited about AEW is that they want to have wins and losses matter, things like that. We'll see if that actually materializes. But what were you going to say, babe?
No. And you know what? That brings up a good point. And I don't know why it didn't register with me when it should, because I should know these things. You have your hands into sporting events with what you cover, and you see the type of stuff that happens, even only like maybe for a little bit for the outside and everything. So it's kind of like, how does that as being into sports and everything like that, how do you feel about how they do cover that with the interview process and everything else, like the big fight feels?
For me personally,
Yeah, for you.
I love it. I mean, I think I don't want to say legitimizes what this whole thing is, but I mean, I think it does because, for example, I just waved hello to a few of the St. Louis Gatekeepers, the men's roller derby team from St. Louis. They're one of the teams competing this weekend. And I can't tell you how many times I have to sit there and explain, like, no, it's not fake. It's not staged. It's not, you know, and a lot of times wrestling, you know, there's the term kayfabe for a reason. You know what I mean? Like a lot of times people just assume it's quote unquote fake, even though sure, it may be predetermined, but none of what these athletes, what these competitors do is fake. I mean, you cannot fake the shit that we saw between Dustin and Cody. I mean, you just can't.
Yeah. Yeah.
The raw emotion. Yeah. I mean, you know, maybe Orange Cassidy's swift kicks were a little contrived. But
whoa. Those are painful kicks, Adam, and we will not we will not have you slander those.
Yeah.
I keep Tommy Dreamer's, him and his family in my heart at all times. All right.
Yeah.
Going through that devastation.
All right.
So okay, maybe it's just all the sun I got in Florida the last 2 days, but you know, I don't know if you can see this. Sunburn is kind of ridiculous.
Oof.
It's
you are kind of white.
Yeah, pasty motherfucker.
All right. So before we get into AEW, there were only really two big news hits this week, really, that I can think of. Number one being Terry Reynolds getting caught with a gun at the airport.
I couldn't even believe that when I read that story and I sent that to. I think I was at Disney World when I sent that to you guys. I mean, it was just she's gonna have I want to say class 4 felony for carrying a firearm in an airport.
Yeah,
that's class 3.
Class 3.
Yeah, that is
it's huge.
You know, you would think. Yeah, you would think, you know, I'm going to an airport. Let me double check and make sure I don't have just fucking shotguns and revolvers, you know, just hanging in my bag. But, you know.
This motherfucker walked in that bitch like she was Sarah Connor and said, yo, I got to protect the creature.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck. I didn't know that was in there. And I'm just like, bro, what? How?
Yeah, that is crazy. But we do hope that everything works out with that. I know she put out a video basically apologizing, saying that she, you know, forgot that it was there. So, and it did sound very heartfelt. It didn't sound like, you know, some fake shit. You know, it really sounded like she was really sorry about it. So, good luck to her. And of course, the biggest news of this week, Jon Moxley going on Chris Jericho's talk with Jericho. It dropped at like maybe 3:00 in the morning, and I was just
crazy.
I was just about to go to sleep, and I was about to go count the sheep, you know, slap hands, kiss babies in my dreams, you know, be the superhero, and bam, there it goes. I get the alert, and I'm like, okay, let me listen to like the first 10 minutes and see what it's talking about. Not even 4 minutes into this fucking podcast, Jon Moxley, he dropped some bombshells, and before, you know, I even tweeted too, but I went back to delete it. I said this was up there with Punk and Cabana. No, it's not. It's not up there with Cabana.
Hold on. I said it's mostly in the same vein.
Yeah.
Different types of attitudes towards it.
Same realm.
Same realm. One got fired, one actually left on his own terms. Both had the same type of like, man, this shit is fucking stupid type of fucking like feel for it.
With that,
I think they're similar.
Can we just, I think it's in the same realm.
Punk was more bitter. I'll say that.
Oh, absolutely.
He had a reason to be bitter, and he had a reason to be bitter, but it was definitely bitterness.
Can we also talk about the real quick? Just touch on the tweet from Maria Kanellis.
Oh yeah, that's right.
What was it? I don't even think I saw it.
I can't recall verbatim because I'm like sunburnt and exhausted, but it was 3 weeks left on our contract, or three weeks left on contracts. And then she came back and said, "Oh, I was talking about my gym membership."
Yeah. Yeah.
Playing around. I don't know. Listen, she already. her and Mike Kanellis have already asked their release. They can sit there and deny it all they want. They asked their release, so they're just playing at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much at this point, they ain't got no choice. Vince is not letting anyone out of their contract no time soon. And out of all the people that's been asking for a release, I do really feel bad for Sasha because she's locked up into 2021.
Yeah,
And that's a long ass time. So but
speaking of asking for a release, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I have to go. I have to be up and run a tournament tomorrow. So
no, do your thing. No,
I love you, Doug.
Thing,
I can't wait to listen to this show tomorrow when I'm losing my mind, like on lack of sleep and responsibility and blah 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 blah. I can't wait to listen to your personal take on Double or Nothing. So,
all right.
That's all I gotta say about that. Love you guys.
I will talk to you later.
Yeah, bye, buddy.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Peace out.
See.
Later.
Yeah. Peace. Yeah. Yep. Let me do that before you go. All right. So. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So.
All right.
Going back to this podcast. There's just a few things that I want. To touch on some of the things that he said. I'm going through my Twitter because I was tweeting about this shit when it was going on. So, the first thing I did after listening to the podcast was I went back and looked at these backstage segments that he was talking about and referring to. And looking at them, you can definitely tell, like, yeah, something's not right. Like, he didn't want to do it
at all.
Yeah, he wasn't feeling it at all. But I would say my personal experience, the first time I thought that I just knew that he didn't give a shit was the segment that he had with Nia Jax. She like punched him or something, and he just got up and like smiled and walked away. Like he pretty much no sold it and just walked away. And okay, so let me see. He said he hated going to Monday Night Raws. He was just counting down the days. That really sucks when you go to work and you just can't wait to you just know the day you want to quit. He said that man, this is kind of crazy. He said a writer and Vince McMahon fed him a cancer line during the time when Roman just announced that he was dealing with that. He said it was so bad. First of all, he didn't say what it was on the podcast or anything like that.
I know what it was.
I do too.
Can you elaborate? Yeah. See. Yeah. Can someone elaborate? Because I was. I don't know.
Well, I heard this is maybe we got different ones, but this is what someone I know told me what the line was. The one that I was told is that it is. I don't know who is more of a dead man walking, Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns. Only difference is I'm going to kill Seth, and God is going to kill Roman.
Oh wow.
Okay,
Holy shit.
Hold on. Granted, that is right, Doug. I did hear that one, but one thing, I'm not gonna lie to you. If it was in better taste, that would have been fucking badass. If I had to be devil's advocate here, if it was in better taste and better subject.
Let's be honest. If he did say that, there are going to be a lot of people online. They're going to be like, "Oh, you're all getting ridiculous and being overreacting. This is fine." But I do think that there is a legitimate, because his concern was, "Hey, Susan G. Komen is going to drop us for this." And let's be honest, Susan G. Komen is hardly the beacon of morality and ethics.
Right.
So as far as an organization is concerned, I kind of doubt that. But I do understand where he's coming from, and him not wanting to say that, sure. And assuming that's what the line was. I had one person tell me that's what it was, and I can't double source that.
Yeah, but he would have caught the backlash for that. They wouldn't have came at Vince McMahon. They would, oh well, we just, Jonathan Good has been released from his contract. They would have gave him the Muhammad Hassan treatment. So, so that good for Dean or John Moxley for even doing that. I'm trying to see what else he said that was pretty crazy. His last match that he had with WWE during that whole Shield, last chapter thing. His last match, he got paid $500. That's it, just $500 to do that match. And
man, I wish I got paid $500.
Dude,
And,
yeah,
and
that's
here
what I'm saying.
and here's the other thing with this. I mean, we the stuff with EC3 at the end
That shit.
Yeah,
where he
That's the
talks
shit that
about
got me.
where he just discusses, okay, this, because we all at the time, everyone's like, wow, they're not really burying him at all this whole way out, to the point where people thought this whole thing was a work because he didn't get the future endeavors treatment. He didn't get any of the other things that they do to people on the way out to kind of bury them and make them look horrible. They did the opposite.
Yeah.
And I didn't pick up on it, but the stuff with the stuff with Naya, these quick losses with EC3, they actually did try to bury him at first, but they
did. Yeah.
they had to back off, and I didn't catch that, and it did damage EC3 a lot, and it's sad that the writers knew it, and they said, it's like, this is going to make me a huge babyface, and the writers like, yeah, but that's what Vince wants, so it's a shame. It's a damn shame. Oh, real quick, do we want to talk about kind of the stuff at the end of the podcast where he kind of alludes to his future, or do you want to save that till after we go over the? Want to do that now?
I mean,
we're on
the
podcast now. Let's just say fuck it and we'll cover it. That's one less thing we have to do. Going forward, because we can just focus on the card.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I don't know because first of all, obviously we already know that he's doing this next match is. It's next weekend. He's going to be working the Best of the Super Junior finals, and he's facing Juice Robinson for the U.S. title. His other match. No, I actually have his schedule right in front of me. After that, he's got Fighter Fest in
which I'm trying to be in attendance for, but I don't know yet. More soon to come.
Okay, and that's against Joey Janela. That match will be insane.
Yes,
but. Oh, I'm sorry, I skipped one. And then the one before that, he is going to be facing Darby Allin in Northeast Wrestling.
Jesus Christ.
Hold on, isn't he fighting Pentagon Jr. as well?
And that is in August. That is in August. So now here's the thing that's interesting. And I've made a post about this, and Dave actually alluded to this on the Observer Radio as well. But he's working Fighter Fest. Mm-hmm. He is not working Fight for the Fallen. And then he's working Northeast Wrestling. There is a 6-week gap from June 29th to August 16th where he's not booked for anything. That motherfucker's in the G1.
Ooh.
Okay, I'll take it.
Yeah.
I'm with that.
I'm sitting here going like, wait, he's not going to be in Jacksonville? Fuck. Then I'm like, wait a minute, that's G1. I'll take that.
Yeah. So, and here's the other thing. If that's the case, that Dallas show needs a bump in order to move those New Japan tickets. I mean, his block needs to be on that night. I'm going to be in Dallas for that show. So I hope that's what's happening here.
I hope you're right for your sake.
Yeah.
Then again, part of me wants to be like jealous as fuck and be like, nah, he's taking on like fucking Jimmy Havoc and Fight for the Fallen, and I'm just laugh.
You got Kenny Omega versus Shima though.
Yeah, I know that. Like, and I hadn't fucking seen Shima like in the match since like outside of this one since 2007 at Bola, I was like, holy shit! I was like, yeah, dude, it runs that deep, and that's the Bola he won. So I'm sitting there going like, holy shit, Shima, and I'm hyped, but I'm like, yo, he's going against Kenny Omega, and then looking at him in Double or Nothing, he fucking still got it. I was like, fuck yes, this is gonna be fucking incredible. So, yeah, I'm still kind of jealous.
Yeah, but I think that's what we're looking at here. I think that, I imagine he's winning. I imagine he's winning against Juice. I feel like it would be weird for him to have his first match out of WWE, go to New Japan and lose. And
yeah,
I mean, I guess he could, but we'll see. I shouldn't. That's speculation. That's waste time on that, I guess.
So do you think that he's going to take the U.S. title from Juice?
If I had to guess, I'd lean yes. I think so.
I mean, honestly,
if he's in the G1, yeah, I'd say definitely yes.
Honestly, I mean, it sucks that. Because Juice, that belt did help Juice a lot, but you're trying to help build that belt up, and who better else to give it to than him? But at the same time, he really doesn't need a title.
Mhm.
So it'll be interesting.
You know what though? I've heard that New Japan. This is more stuff that I've been hearing from people I trust who would know. That New Japan is going to be running some more shows this summer in the United States, but it's going to be, or the fall, I should say, and it'd be more on the West Coast again. Not necessarily California, but the West Coast, and they could. That's another spot for John Moxley to lose the belt. Like he could win it next week and then lose it there after he holds it the entire summer. Summer of Mox.
I wonder who he would lose it to, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Gentlemen, did you want to go ahead and start dabbling into actual Double or Nothing before we we get too in depth into New Japan?
I think so.
Yeah, for sure. So we start out the show with the AEW buy-in pre-show, of course, where you had a lot of fucking people. I'm just going to name some of the big names. Well, you know what? I don't want to do that because then I feel like I feel like everyone's big names, but Brian Pillman Jr. was in it. Of course, my favorite MJF, who I think is the future of AEW, by the way. We had Jimmy Havoc, Joey Janela, Ace Romero, Brandon Cutler, who's a good friend of, I believe, the Young Bucks. Of course, the amazing Michael Nakazawa, Orange Cassidy. There we go. Sonny Kiss, returning, formerly known as Ty Dillinger, aka Sean Spears, who came back looking like Berlin when he made his Alex Wright made his heel turn in WCW. If you're a real fan, you would know who I'm talking about.
I'm mad as hell that you mentioned that. I would rather not remember that shit.
Man, I was pissed about that. I love the Alex Wright dance. We also had Jungle Boy Marco Stunt and new AEW signee Luchasaurus was in it as well. And of course, the winner of that, Adam Page, we had to put him. I guess they had to put him in the match because he kind of got fucked out of his match with Pac, over Dragon Gate. Decisions and stuff like that or whatever. So what did you guys think of that match right there?
Well, first of all, a lot of people didn't get in the building yet for that match. I was in line fairly early, but then I got in, but there were still people filing in at that point. So a lot of people were kind of paying attention. A lot of people were still trying to get to their seats. I personally thought it was good. It was okay. I thought the one at All In was better.
I
thought that the way they did it with the diamonds and the different suits, the rules, I thought they were maybe a little convoluted, and I think that it got a little confusing, at least for me, where it was like, okay, who's coming out now? Like they had the diamonds up on the screen that didn't say anything. So I think there was some production issues with it, and people coming in, some getting special entrances. I think it was a little more complicated than it needed to be. But for the most part, it was fun. It was, they had some memorable spots, and it was good for what it was.
Yeah, for sure.
The one big critique I will say real quick is that I think that it was if you're trying to introduce people to AEW, probably wasn't the best first match to do it.
Oh yeah. See, and I'm gonna make a segue on that because I am the opposite.
Okay.
Reason being, first off, it's a battle royale. It's their version of the Royal Rumble at that point. Great to start the show off with. Cool. We had a couple of spots in there. Everybody got their kind of spots in. Jimmy Havoc was pretty much hardcore. Same thing with Tommy Dreamer. Joey Janela smoked a cigarette and also died for our sins. Orange Cassidy did his Orange Cassidy shtick, which I'm all for. But what really got me to this was obviously amongst some people that we know, Pat, but other than that, I'm like, people look at me and kind of giving the wrestling news. When that match was going on, a lot of people were really excited about these wrestlers that were in the ring that they never seen before. More so for some for Jimmy Havoc, but more so for like Luchasaurus, which I watched my first introduction to him was from Lucha Underground. So that's how I got into him. And I'm like, oh, y'all in for a treat, man, because this dude's like, now granted, I didn't see him use all that fucking like Lucha Kung Fu when he was in Lucha Underground, but in AEW, I was like, oh shit, he can kick. And like, because they use him as a giant in like Lucha Underground. But yo, a lot of people who've never seen these people, they were more hyped for like Jimmy Havoc, Luchasaurus, Joey Janela. Of course, Sonny Kiss got the weird stuff, weird reactions from people, but they accepted it.
You know what? First, I hate to cut you off.
Go ahead.
Yeah, no, fuck those dudes, man. Dude, and Doug, I know you know this firsthand, dealing with with Reddick, man, dude, man.
Reddick, JJ Reddick.
You know what I'm talking about, No,
you sober, bro. Ain't no excuse.
Yeah, I'm sober. Yeah, that's true. That's true. Yeah, so like what goes on, and I got a message the other day on from somebody out of that fucking group, pretty much cursing me out, and man, dude, it's rough, man. But I'm like I said, my bad. I'm just ranting, man. I'm just a supporter of Sonny Kiss, man, and
that's mine. But it's what got me was the fact that people were legitimately excited to see these people that they've never seen before. And that dragged people in. That was interesting to me because these are WWE. These are guys that I've either introduced them to other promotions like New Japan, like Ring of Honor, and everything else. But these are guys that just watch WWE only. So for them to watch it and they said, "Yo, I fuck with that dude," really fucking excited me because you don't see that type of stuff. And these dudes, if they were on WWE television, they probably wouldn't got the same reception as they would have gotten. Luchasaurus probably wouldn't have popped off like that.
No, because
without being a joke character.
Most WWE crowds are not nearly as good as that. I mean, they won't give that the time of day. We won't give half the stuff on the show the time of day. And I think that, and I know what I think what Patrick was kind of alluding to with Sonny Kiss is that and what you would see on Reddit every now and then. I mean, I saw especially after the Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez retweet of Cody's discussions on race and how he was basically saying you can't be blind to racism, you can't be blind to race in general, you need to understand race. The idea that suddenly the idea that AEW is a lot of people I think have been calling it, I've seen some people, I'm not going to name names, but some people have called them performatively woke, which I don't think is fair. I don't think that's a fair statement at all, because I don't think that this isn't like WWE where they're shoving it down your throat saying like, oh, look at all the how inclusive we are, look at all the people we're including. They're just doing it, and that's really cool. Whether it be Sonny Kiss or whether it be Nyla Rose, all these different people from different backgrounds that are normally from marginalized groups that are not really getting represented in wrestling historically. And if they are, it's not in a very good way, and suddenly they are. I think that's a positive thing. I think and Shaggy, I'll say this. I think that's one. I think I agree with you on that. That is a positive part of the Battle Royal. And I think the only thing that I would say is that if they're trying to brand themselves as more sports based, this wasn't the first match to do that. That's the one negative I would say.
The main card kind of fixed that. Which I have a gripe with, but this is more kind of a thing. I can go down with the discussion. But that being said, it was a good way to build your characters for free on YouTube, even though YouTube had a little bit of problems. But you had to build those characters up, and people were excited, like, yo, I fuck with this dude, or I fucks with that dude. Heavy. And I'm like, this is my type of shit that I like to see. That is what I got out of that. Granted, we all fucking knew as soon as fucking Hangman Page limped his little ass down there, we kind of fucking knew what was gonna happen, which was a theme for the night, which again I am alluding to, but it was still like it did its job. They need to clean it up a little bit, but it did its job.
Yeah. Few production issues, but that's okay.
Yeah. So then after that we had and of course Adam Hangman Page won. Of course, if you're a wrestling fan, you should know that.
MJF.
Yeah, so the next match was Kip Sabian versus Sammy Guevara, who I became a fan of last year. I think at Warrior Wrestling I saw him, and he was incredible. And he
You mean
lost.
Sammy? You're talking to Sammy, right?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So he lost to Kip, and high flying match. I thought it was dope. I thought it was good. I thought it should have been on the main show, but it was pretty dope. I get it. I get the purpose of why it was there.
I like the fact that both dudes got time to shine on the pre-show, because this could have been on the main show, but it was like one of those things like, hey, all right, we could have thrown you guys in the battle royal, or we can just have you guys have a singles match. I know Kip Sabian because I watch a lot of the UK wrestling out there. That's how I knew him, and I was happy for him when he got signed. I legitimately thought Sammy was going to win this match off of the wave from like being the elite and everything else, and he's like the bigger name. But when Kip won, I'm like, oh shit, all right, they are all right. They're kind of serious about this, so it's cool to see that everybody's getting their chances. Because it's actually cool to see it. Not a lot of people knew who Kip Sabian was, other than like dudes who like me that fuck around and do their homework. So it's kind of like it was interesting to see that, but it was a decent match. By all means, that could have been on the main show. So I agree with you there, Pat.
Yeah, it was fine. I thought it was a fine match. I don't think it was anything, crazy that you need to go back out and rewatch, but it was good. It was good.
Yeah, it wasn't a stinker. That's what I was meaning by it. Like it wasn't a stinker. So we kicked off the show with SoCal Uncensored versus Strong Hearts. This was a really good fucking match. This was a really good match, and of course SCU wins. But I would love to see these guys, all six of them, T-Hawk, SEMA, and I can't remember the other guy name.
Lindemann.
Yeah, I would love to see them wrestle again. And it definitely broadened my horizons to check out what is it?
OWE.
OWE.
Yeah, so
on YouTube for free. That shit's wild. You can tell who's greenest. You can tell who's green. Like the first few episodes, I've watched at least 3 of them. You can tell who's green as fuck and who's not. But at the same time, it's like if a kung fu movie company made a movie about that, but in wrestling, that's exactly what it is.
I was kind of hoping that they would have some of the OWE trainees in the battle royal. Honestly, I thought that would have been fun.
Oh yeah, that would have been nice.
That actually would have been crazy interesting. But I understand why they probably didn't, because how they're going to take their bumps. Because if you've seen those matches that they have, bruh, I'm like, yo, I don't think I'm taking half this shit, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, I'm definitely going to check it out.
They're pretty great.
It's very fucking athletic.
So this match, I will say this. This is when I was talking about earlier, the matches that if this was in a WWE crowd, in front of a WWE crowd, I don't know if they would have given. I don't know if they would have given them the time. I don't think they would have given the time, and I don't know if the fans would have necessarily, shown them the appreciated that match as much. Especially with, I'm going to bet the vast majority of the people, even in that building, that was probably their first time seeing at least T-Hawk and Lindemann. Maybe they see SEMA. But I bet that was the first time they saw those two. And they both got over. Their spots got over. T-Hawk's chops were over.
Hell yeah.
Lindemann and his bridging suplexes.
Bro,
building went nuts for that. Man. Went nuts for that. So and obviously SCU was way over, but there was still Strong Hearts chants going on. The crowd was willing to give them give them the time, give them the chance to show who they were, and they stuck with them the whole time. That was a great match. I loved it. I thought it was awesome way to start the show, and I'm looking forward to seeing more OWE stuff in this company.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I'm just waiting for my buddy Kitamura to come over there, even though I know he's a little. I don't think he's wrestling no more.
Nah, he's done.
But, yeah, that sucks, man. Because man, I feel like when I see him, I turn to Vince McMahon. Big sweaty men. I think Kitamura would have been really great if they would have gave him a chance. But he's a cool guy anyway. So the next match we had Britt Baker going against Kylie Ray, our favorite, Nyla Rose, and surprisingly, a big surprise because we thought it was going to be Brandy Rhodes, but she gave us a little swerve, and out comes out Awesome Kong, which I thought was super dope.
Boy,
what a great,
man,
what a great troll by Brandy
yes,
on that one.
yes,
yeah. Yeah, she was really good about that. And I love the fact that because going in, I'm like, oh man, I was behind Kylie Ray the whole time. But then when Awesome Kong got there, I'm like, oh shit.
all my shit went out the window, fam. I was like, as soon as I said, yeah, my homeboy was like, yo, I hope they get Awesome Kong. Like he just said it, and we were both kind of thinking of it. It was like, but as soon as Brandy comes in, we were like, oh, okay, it's gonna be Brandy. And then she fucking comes start out. Because we hadn't fucking seen her since like season 2 of Glow. So it's like, yo, this is fucking great. Like, yo, this is fucking great. And we're fucking like losing our shit. And I'm like, yo, one thing I'll say on this match is I like the fact that they're doing a slow build. And if they don't, they really drop the ball. But like, you have got to have Nyla Rose versus Awesome Kong at all out. Like, you cannot. You cannot have them be taken out of the match and for you not to build on that.
My only thought process on that is just looking at Awesome Kong and the way she didn't do much. And I wonder if she can anymore. That's my only concern with that. Like, I wonder if they were just really protecting her. Nyla, though, I feel like we didn't get enough of her. Like, we
definitely didn't. Yeah,
I feel like she didn't get a chance to shine. I felt like this match was largely based around Kylie Ray versus Britt Baker, which I guess makes sense in the sense that they're trying to build up Britt Baker as kind of the ace of the women's division for at least for now. And Kylie Ray is absolutely someone who should not win this match. I mean, I love Kylie Ray. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
I love her, but she is a character that needs to lose. She needs to lose now. Like her winning this match would make zero sense. Nyla winning would have made sense. Britt Baker winning would have made sense, and then Awesome Kong. Like I said, I guess we'll see.
Now that you say that though, Doug, because it could be like, yo, are they protecting her because maybe she's like still acting? You know, kind of like how it's not like the fact that she's like out of shape. Like, she looks actually thinner than what she actually used to do when she wrestled in TNA and WWE. On the flip side is with her, she's like should be.
I think she's 41.
Let me look. I'm googling now.
I want to say
41.
I want to say she, if anything, you're kind of protecting her, like, because she's technically now an actress.
Yeah.
For a series that kind of keeps going on and it hadn't gotten canceled, so it's like, yo, kind of like how you would do with The Rock. Anything else, like, hey, I can't get hurt during this match, so we kind of gotta do certain things to protect it. So
so kind of like his match with the Wyatt family at that one,
at that one show.
That one show, that indie show,
that one indie show.
Yeah, so all right, so the next match we had the best friends Trent Beretta and Chuck Taylor, aka Stokely Hathaway, defeating Jack Evans.
Stop that right now.
Okay, I'm sorry. Jack Evans and Angelico is his name?
Angelico.
Angelico. Okay. My bad. See, that's why I don't like all right. Angelico. I'm sorry. If you
watch
listen
more
to the
Lucha
show,
Underground, you nerd.
I know.
It's okay. Actually, I haven't watched Lucha Underground either. I only know it because I saw him on the Super Strong Style 16 in Progress last year.
Stop. You're supposed to have my back here. Shit.
Oh shit. Yeah. So this match was actually all right. I really messed with it, man. Like I didn't know too much about the other guys. I don't want to mess up the name Jack Evans and his buddy. Yeah, and I know about Trent Beretta, of course, from when he was with the Dude Busters or whatever, with WWE or whatever the hell, with the other guy that don't wrestle no more. And I guess the big surprise after this match was the Super Smash Bros showed up, which I was completely shocked by.
I felt like I was the only person in that whole building who even knew who they were.
Doug, Let me explain to you what happened in my living room. To both of you. First off about the match. I was looking forward to every single tag match on this card. Minus the six woman tag match, only because I knew that was mostly like a Stardom tag match and I was fine with it. But I was looking for every tag match on this card. I knew what Angelico. Now I'm kind of sad that Angelico didn't kind of jump off of something extravagant, but okay, cool. So when the best friends, so that tag match works. I'm sitting in my living room. The lights go off. They come back on. Mm-hmm. I see fucking player like Evil Uno standing in the middle of the ring with a guy who I assumed was Dose, but I hadn't seen Dose in years. Mm-hmm. So it was like I wanted to scream so bad, but I was like, I'm holding everything out just in case I'm wrong. Because I know that one. I can't remember who that one is because I haven't. Last time I seen him, he had hair. So
oh shit, yeah.
They are a popular. So Pat, they are a popular PWG tag team. Obviously, you probably not going to be called Super Smash Brothers, obviously for Nintendo rights reasons.
Yeah,
but they were a popular PWG tag team. The reason why me and probably Doug here were excited for them. These guys haven't fucking wrestled in, I believe, America for a long ass time.
And now here's the thing. It's actually kind of funny how I even heard about them because I didn't learn about them from PWG. I didn't learn about them from Chikara or anything. I learned about them for the first time in November when I went to Toronto for an ROH show because they were booked on the ROH show and I saw them in a tag match and they were like the best part of the whole show. And it was like, oh, holy shit, these guys are great. But yes, they couldn't work in the United States.
That's a huge deal for them to be right there. So I don't know who flipped the bill to get their visas and shit fixed because they were banned for they were banned from working in the United States.
Mm-hmm.
They've been trying to come back for years, but they couldn't. But I don't know how it happened, but I'm fucking glad it did because you guys are in for a fucking treat.
Yeah, they're great. I mean, I like I said, I went to a show that in Toronto that had Tetsuya Naito on it, Evil, Sonata, Kushida, like a whole bunch of other New Japan people, and Super Smash Brothers were the best part of that whole show. I mean, they're very good.
Evil Uno and Player Dose.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a surprise with that, just seeing them, and it definitely came off on TV as well. It's like no one knew who the fuck they were. They was kind of just like, huh?
Bro, I would have been in that crowd yelling. Like, I'd be like, I'm like, who's that with fucking Evil Uno? And if someone said Player Dose, I'd have fucking scream like a little girl. Because like, oh my God! Stuff like that. Because I hadn't fucking seen them in so fucking long, dude.
Oh, and by the way, the Best Friends theme song is great, and I will take no answer otherwise.
And the video.
The video too. The video is perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. So the next match, we had a 6 women's tag match. I don't. All I know is Aja Kong. I don't want to butcher. I don't want to.
I can go through if you want.
Thank you.
Okay. Please. You have Riho, and I'm doing it by memory. Riho. Then you had Ryu Mizunami, and then you had Hikaru Shida on one team.
Okay.
Riho is from, I believe, Gato Move. Ryu Mizunami, I believe, is freelance. And then Hikaru Shida largely worked at Oz Academy, but she was freelance too, and now she's signed to AEW. On the other side, you had Yuka Sakazaki. She's signed to Tokyo Joshi Pro. She is one half of the tag champs, whatever the tag, I forget their belts, their goofy belt names. And then Emi Sakura was the one who was like dressed like Freddie Mercury. She's I think she's the founder of Gato Move, and she trained like a lot. Like she trained Riho, who's like the one in the white and the pink that was like flying all over the place, who's been wrestling since she's like 8. And then who's the last one?
Hold on, wait a minute. Is that the chick that wrestled Kenny Omega?
No, this is a different girl.
Different. The last one.
No, Riho used to tag with Kenny Omega though. And then Aja Kong would be the last one, who's obviously Aja Kong. This match, I think this was actually I'm really happy this match happened because if you can't tell, I follow Joshi fairly close, and Joshi in general in the Western world, you can't outside of Chicago occasionally and like London, like in the English speaking world, you're not going to see live Joshi like almost ever. So the idea that you get to see this, like, I mean, as someone in Chicago who goes to Shimmer a lot and gets a chance to see a lot of these people, I've seen 3 people in this match live out of 6. So it's like I even someone who lives in Chicago and goes to all these shows, I've only seen half of them. Like I've seen Aja Kong, I've seen Emi Sakura, and that's because I was in London when I saw her there, and then I saw Hikaru Shida. Those are the other 3 I don't think have ever worked in the United States.
I think I've probably seen them in Stardom maybe once or twice, but like my women's Japanese wrestling outside of Stardom is very, very slim.
Yeah,
like,
I think
slim.
Some of them might have worked Stardom occasionally, but that's the thing. Most of them aren't Stardom wrestlers. So
no,
it's like,
at all.
Yeah, so it's like a lot of them, maybe the freelance ones, and that'd be it.
Yeah.
But this is really cool though that they did this, because once again, this is another match that I was saying right now. If this was like just on like a random, WWE show, the crowd would not give this the attention that it deserves.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't mean to shit on the crowd, but I'm going to shit on parts of the crowd with this, because in my section, there were some assholes who were trying to get themselves over and shouting some shit that I personally thought was a little bit offensive, culturally insensitive, and borderline racist. Where they
there's no reason to say that. There's no reason to say you thought, because it probably was.
Oh yeah, well, I mean, because here's the thing: it's like when you see there's 6 Japanese women in the ring, and you're sitting there shouting like the anime characters and video game characters you think they look like. I mean, I think just because they're Japanese, I think that's a little shitty.
Yeah.
So that
but that's how it is, man. Fucking neckbeards, man.
But they got shouted down, so that's the nice thing. I'll say this: that the crowd shit on them pretty quickly and shut them up. So
good. So
for the most part, it was a positive experience, and then they kept quiet the rest of the match. But this match, I thought fucking ruled.
Oh yeah. Like I was watching it at first. I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of tuned out just because I was still like trying to figure out. I was doing my Googles trying to figure out who the hell those 2 guys were that just came into the ring. but midway through the match, it definitely got me hooked into the match, and if we can get to see them more in AEW or whatever, I'm for it, man. Because I think the AEW women's roster, they got some people, but I don't think they got that many women.
Yeah.
So
we'll see if they're shifting them in and out. That'll be the interesting.
Yeah, for sure.
Obviously, we're gonna see a lot of Hikaru Shida. She is signed full time, and she's gonna be there. Like,
she was the one in the red and white, correct?
Yeah, she's the one who came out with the kendo stick.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's actually Kenny Omega's girlfriend.
Oh man, shit!
Nice.
See? I learned something new every fucking week on this show.
Yes,
so
and the
crazy thing is I'm sober.
And then the other one, yes, and then the other one, Riho, the one who came out with the 2 belts. She is actually signed to a 5-match deal, because they want to sign her, but she's not sure if she wants to move to the United States. So she's doing like 5 matches to see if she likes it. So she might.
Okay.
So she might. We're gonna see her again. The other 4, who knows? But you know what? This is cool though, because it's like I like the idea that it's like you never know who's gonna show up, and they're willing to like just put people on the show, for like 1 or 2 matches, and it kind of gives that unpredictability. Like you never know what's gonna happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then obviously the other thing with this match is they had the mess up with the bell. Like they.
That was like, kudos to the ref standing pat on that, because she stood there. She's like, no, this is.
She gave the death eyes. Like, oh my god.
She was like, she fucking like 2 and just kept it up. Made sure to look in the hard cam, and she just said no. I'm like, damn, dude.
She became my favorite ref with that one moment. It's like that is so badass. Like, I love her already.
She stared, looked, and did not blink, did not like argue, did nothing. She's like, no, Somebody fucked up. I refuse to be the one to say I fucked up. I'm putting that 2 up and I'm standing there. I'm not saying she did or not, but it was just a whole botch thing to where they was like, ding, ding, ding. It's like, no, it was only 2 count. What the fuck are you doing? So, kudos to that.
I watched that match back already. That was worse in the building. Like,
really?
it didn't come across as bad on TV, but in the building, like the crowd lost the crowd. Everyone just started a "you fucked up" chant. It didn't. It took the crowd out of it and took a little bit to get back in. So that it did fuck up the ending. But overall, I really enjoyed that match. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
That's nice.
So now we move on to the match that had the most storytelling to it. Of course, we're talking about Cody and Brandy Rhodes because we can't just say, Cody with his last name for some reason against Dustin Rhodes. And of course, everyone's talking about the throne, the game throne, and him getting a sledgehammer and breaking it down as Brandy Rhodes yelled at the beginning. I thought it was fair. You have your neck beards and WWE marks. Like, oh, look at that, man. They can't stop thinking about WWE. Oh my God! But it's like, okay, you shit on that, but yet Triple H and DX, they went to WCW with a fucking tank. And it's kind of in the same realm, kind of. I have no problem with Cody doing what he did. I have no problem with it.
I don't think anybody does here. I thought it was corny. I get it though, because that same dude called yours a pissant company. So obviously you're gonna retaliate. At the same time, I mean, you could have focused on like your brother, like the Attitude Killer, and you wanted to take that era down, which is fine. But at the same time, it's like, yo, I mean, did Triple H do anything like this other than that saying, or it was symbolic? I get it. It was hella symbolic. It was like, all right, cool, that's cute.
That's going to be lasting. Yeah, that's going to be a lasting memory.
I
think for that first show, that shot with him with that sledgehammer in front of that throne is going to be a lasting memory in WWE, not WWE, in wrestling, just period. Just that image of that.
See, I've already forgotten about it. It was corny as fuck to me. Like, I get it. I get why you did it, but I'm like, all right, man, cool story, bro. Move on.
Yeah, Doug, what did you think?
Here's my whole thing on it. I get it because here's the thing. They said that they don't want to be competition. Like, they're not trying to see themselves as a competition or trying to be an alternative. And generally, I would be against doing stuff like this. However, I will give this one a pass in the sense that Cody is doing it. If the Young Bucks did this, I would shit all over it.
That would literally make no sense. That wouldn't make any sense.
The reason I'm okay with this is because, let's be honest, all of Cody's character and his storyline is built around this idea that he's a Rhodes who escaped WWE, and his whole family has been, literally 3 generations of Rhodes have been dealing with Vince McMahon's bullshit for their lives. So it's like I'm going to give him a pass on this one. I don't want to see it all the time. I would hopefully not. I would like not this. I don't want to see any more of this anytime soon. But I would give this one a pass because I do think in the context it was fine and it worked. But generally, I'd be opposed to stuff like this.
Yeah,
and I agree with Doug on that. Like, I give it a pass, but I'm like, all right, man, you say you did what you had to do. Just now, let's focus on your stuff. And the only thing is, I agree with Doug on that because the Young Bucks did is like, all right, what the fuck are we doing?
They have nothing to do with WWE. Why are you even commenting on
the only people that I would even allow, not even allow, just kind of would accept shit talking would be anybody that was released from WWE in that card. That'd either be Cody, Jericho, and
Moxley, I suppose.
Yeah, but I was gonna say at that time, Shawn Spears.
Yeah.
before Moxley ran out.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's it. That's all. I don't need to see it. I don't need to hear it because now it's all about your time. There's no reason to do any of this. Don't cling on it. Do it. Get it done with. Never do it again.
I feel like it's almost like getting it out of the way, where you're just like, I'm going to say it. I'm saying this so we don't have to say it again. It's like if Sasha hypothetically ends up there, if they want to do something with that with her, just so it can get it out of the way and be like, yes, I came from there, blah blah. Here's my story. Here I'm leaving them behind. You know, and this was that. I hope for Cody, I would be fine with that. But yeah, it would need to be someone who came from there. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah. And this was, to me, my personal opinion, the second best match of the night. I thought, I know they did something symbolic with Dustin being all, busted open. What's that? The Crimson Mask.
The Crimson?
Yeah.
Maybe you need to get back on the weed.
Yeah, the Crimson. My bad.
Crimson.
I'm tripping. Well, first of all, number one, I went to a Chicago public school, so please spare me a little bit.
Sir. That doesn't even matter to you.
So we saw a lot of crazy things. Of course, Cody got the win at the end. Incredible from start to finish. Number one, Dustin. I hate saying, he can still go. Like he always could go, especially when he was sober. So in his last run in WWE, he was in the best shape of his life. The thing at the end where Cody got back in the ring and said he doesn't need a partner, he needs his brother, which is shades of Dusty and Dustin back in WCW. That is another memory that I think people will remember until the end of time. Those two hugging at the end, all bloody and
I'll
crying.
That. I'll remember that more so than the actual throne. Also, I also remember the fact that just looking in high definition, that Dustin was probably leaking more blood than I've seen in any Mortal Kombat game ever.
Yeah, he was. Jesus. He was definitely.
Oh my God.
Now, and here's the thing: what I was talking about earlier, where I said this is like 1970s Southern style wrestling. Like this was the show. Like this was like the peak of it. This is like amazing. This was my favorite match of the show. By far. Yeah. Well, I shouldn't say by far, but it was my favorite match of the show.
Fair enough. I mean, I dug it. I dug it a lot. It just was a lot for me to see. It's like, oh fuck. I was like, oh, it's like, oh, okay, he's bleeding. Oh fuck, that is not normal.
Yeah, that was
like that bitch was pouring out of his head.
Yeah.
Yeah, I haven't seen blood like that probably since maybe JBL Cena.
I was gonna say JBL Eddie Guerrero? Or JBL Chris Jericho. JBL Chris Jericho. Like one of them just kept fucking pouring.
Yeah, so that was, like I said, a crazy match. I thought it was dope, and it told the story that they were trying to do. Great ending
with with Cody. Basically, them hinting that Dustin's going to retire, and then Cody says, "You don't get to retire here. I need a partner for Fight for the Fallen, but I don't need a partner. I don't need a friend. I need my older brother," with his voice cracking.
Oh man, dude, it wasn't a dry tear in the eye.
And you know what? If this was WWE, that would have been the moment Cody turned on Dustin.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
Like,
yeah, he would have hit him with a pooper scooper.
Yeah, he would have done something. Like, it was such a great emotional moment. It was just perfect. Like, I'm so happy.
Right in the dick.
Yeah, and now here's the thing. Now you have Cody, and because here's the thing, AEW is really doing a great job with tag teams, and now you have a Cody Dustin tag team that you could run with.
Yeah, for a little bit. Yeah, that would be great. That would be crazy. And you know what? And I would enjoy that. And I kind of like that move because I'm not really a big fan of the executives being like all in the, the picture. We know Kenny Omega's going to be there, somewhere. This gives Cody something to do for a little bit. The Bucks, they're also a tag team, so they're going to, it's not like those guys are going to be getting any single title soon. So I like that. I like that him and Dustin are getting together to do this tag match, and maybe they're going to do some more stuff.
I don't want them doing all the I want them to minimize the authority figure stuff as well. I agree that they
Yeah.
need to stay away from that.
Yeah. So the next thing we had the reveal of the AEW championship. The biggest shocker to me before the end was seeing Bret Hart come out with this title and present it, which number one, it looks really, really good. But man, my thing is, dude, all these people, that they're, he just got inducted again, like what, less than a month ago or something like that.
Mhm.
And
April.
here he comes. Yeah, and here he is now on the competition's show, presenting the belt for the first time to the public, which is, a lot of, people are going to remember that. Bret Hart was in, pretty much, you can kind of say he was, in AEW as well. So, then we said, I think MJF came out, and of course he, yeah, like I said, love MJF. Think he is probably the best thing in AEW. Of course, made a little joke about the fan getting in the ring. Watch out, Brett. There's a fan.
Watch out, there's a fan. I got you, you pussy bitch. I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This
is
MJF boy.
That was absolutely fantastic. I heard some people complaining that it's like, oh, they shouldn't have had MJF come out. There should have been a serious, presentation of the title. I'm like, get out of here. This is great. This is awesome.
It's great. And plus, what I think that did was establish who's going to be in the hunt for. Those guys are not going to be like the main event guys. I think those are going to be like the upper mid card, whatever secondary title there is. We're definitely going to see Jimmy Havoc, MJF, and Jungle Boy, in that mix. Like those guys or whatever, unless they put Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy together as a tag team, which would be incredible.
That'd be fucking hilarious.
Yeah. So, so that was a nice moment having Bret Hart out there and being a part of AEW. Their first big show. Then we had the main. We had the tag team match. This is what I thought was the best match of the night.
Yeah,
Young Bucks. Yeah, Young Bucks defeating the Lucha Brothers. Dude, man, what's crazy about this match is I'm gonna have to go back and watch it, but I don't think there was a single tag in this match. I think this was just two people just fighting.
There was tags.
It was tags. Okay,
there were tags.
So yeah,
I think my biggest complaint was like, where's the fuck is the tag rope? Hold on to the tag rope.
Yeah.
And I didn't know this at the time, but they had the new AEW has the extended. Instead of the 5 seconds you have after a tag to get back out of the ring, you have 10 seconds now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man.
I didn't catch that until the first time, obviously, because I didn't hear commentary. But on commentary, they said all tag matches in AEW, it won't be, you tag and then you got 5 seconds to get out. You have 10 seconds, so they can make it do a little bit more.
That's cool. Yeah.
That's why I felt like they were that's why I felt like there wasn't no tags, Pat, because you were like they were in the ring for in and out of the ring for 10 seconds.
They was in there for too long and they were doing some crazy shit. We saw a top rope brain buster, like it was some crazy shit in that match. And by far, definitely one of the best tag team matches I've seen this year. So kudos to the Bucks and kudos to the Lucha Brothers as well. Like I said, amazing match, dude. It's so many spots in that match, but they made sense.
So I got one issue here, and this was kind of like my feeling for the entire show. This is before I saw the main event. My biggest thing here, I was excited for AEW, and I still am. But when it came down to this, I was like, first off, when SCU won, I was like, all right, they shouldn't have won, but okay, cool. Obviously Hangman winning. Yeah, I was like, what really scared me is I was like, please, for the love of God, don't have this be double or elite.
Yeah. I noticed that too.
Don't fucking do that to where every elite member wins. Cody versus Dustin was the only match I would give a pass to. Because that's a history running between those two. But everybody else is like, not everybody elite or subsidiary to the elite should win a match. When the Young Bucks, now granted, I watched this later than most because I got off work late and I just started from the beginning. When the Bucks beat the Lucha Brothers. At that point, me and my friend looked at each other. We're like, "Yo," he was like, he went home, and I was going to bed. I didn't even finish the pay-per-view until the next day because I was like, "You had them win for what?" Now, granted, yes, they are doing a rematch in Mexico, which I'm pretty sure they'll probably drop them in Mexico.
Yeah,
but
I think that's probably the plan.
That's definitely. I mean, it's kind of like the same thing when and Cody and All In, he won it All In and then dropped it later on, but. Don't give it the perception that you are all focused on Elite. Now, granted, they did change that, but that was my feeling at the time. I'm like, bro, please don't have these dudes win this shit, man. And then they did, and I'm like, people like myself get up. Like people like myself, I take it. I love every minute of it. I love every minute of wrestling. But the problem is, you're gonna get that perception and feed other negativity to what they're trying to do because it's like, oh, all they're gonna do is have them guys, and it's just like, no, defend when they actually do shit like that. It's hard to say, oh no, they're not gonna do shit, and then the Bucks win. You're like, well, fuck. What are you gonna do? Like, it's just shit like that. It's little shit. I've gotten over it since then because I know going forward they probably won't do. Obviously, the main event changed my perception a little bit, but at that time, that's the emotion that I felt. I'm like, you really just had them win when they really shouldn't have won.
Yeah, and don't get me wrong, I had that same feeling too. I'm just like, oh my god, this is like the Click 2.0. I'm like, everyone's fucking winning.
Remember when I told you to chill out with that, and then that shit happens, and I was like, I wanted to go back and say, I apologize.
Yeah, like I thought it was going to be a clean sweep, but yeah, and another thing I forgot to mention in the last match, I was talking so much shit about Earl Hebner. I was definitely saying like I didn't want to see Earl Hebner in a ring, doing anything just because I'm still pissed off at Kurt Angle's last run in WWE. He had no business being in the ring. He should have just been. That's it. But Earl Hebner did actually a very decent job in the ring. I was very surprised. And Earl, if you ever happen to listen to this show, I apologize. And the next time I talk shit about you, I will go buy a referee shirt and eat it. I will eat it on live, whatever fucking stream we gotta do. I'll eat a fucking referee shirt.
Respect
Earl. Yeah, I gotta respect him, so I apologize for that. So we go to the main event. Of course, Kenny Omega versus Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho has his interest where they're showing the different Jerichos of the era, the Lionheart, the list of Jericho, and then the Ayatollah, Rockarola, or whatever, and then you see Judas Priest Jericho, or where the fuck, and you know what? This match was okay. It was just okay to me.
It did
against Kenny Omega. It was okay. It was it wasn't 5-star Tokyo Dome. Oh, you don't know. It wasn't none of that. It was
like your first match.
I'm sorry.
1 for 1.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, it wasn't one of those things, but I think what people and maybe Doug, you can speak on it more because you was actually there. When Jericho did his finish, it was just like, oh, that's it. And it kind of like, I don't think the move is over yet, but it definitely looked like, oh, well, oh shit, Jericho won, yeah.
I'll give you just from my feeling. I have a bit of a different feeling on it. First of all, I agree with you. The match wasn't as good as the first one in the Tokyo Dome. That one was more of an epic match for sure. This one, I don't think that was what the point of this was. The point of this was to establish Jericho's finisher. And and you say you don't think it got over. I would argue that maybe it didn't seem like it didn't get over just because no one saw it coming and there was kind of didn't really know what to think. But the thing is, next time people will know and it'll be over. And they were able to do that in one night just by doing this. And the other thing is, no one was really even remember this match anyway, because they knew that going in, because no matter how great this match was, the post match was going to be all that anyone was talking about.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
but their goal, I think, was to get that finisher over, that Judas effect, and I think they succeeded in that, because you one hit, Kenny Omega pinned. You do that, that moves over.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I didn't think about it like that. Well, damn. Shit, I'll be damned. You know? I didn't see it like that. That's
And
crazy.
I think I mean, I'm just, who knows, but I agree
No, no,
though
no,
that it was
no,
good.
no. You're right though. Shit, yeah. That looking back now, I think they were trying to establish. I know they did a whole video about him making this like a his new move. You know, that's all it was talking about. So you can't have someone talk about a new move and then he does it and then it doesn't work.
And you know what else? And before we get into the Moxley finish here,
Yeah.
this is setting up Jericho versus it's setting up Jericho versus Hangman now, and
At All Out.
at All Out, more
Yeah.
likely than not. And I would argue that Jericho is probably the perfect guy to be your first champion.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree with
Mm.
that, because it helps establish the brand. He won't mind dropping it at any point.
Mm-hmm.
And it just, if he comes on with that, you have him with the belt. He moves into October with the belt. Whoever fucking, you can have time to build up your other characters. Like you can build up Hangman. You can build up. You can actually have those mid carders to where, like, you can actually have those mid carders now to where, hey, they're top of the line cards. You can actually do these things with these people and establish it. And he's the one. That's the one name that you can have for a while. Other than, like, because you're not putting it on Kenny, so okay, what's going on?
And here's something else to think about. Jericho was the undisputed champion. He merged those belts. You could argue in some ways he was the last WCW champion, if you want to think about it that way. And suddenly he's going to be the first, once again, the first AEW champion on TNT. So it's almost like reestablishing that lineage in a sense.
If you want to, if you really want to get freaky with this, there's a good chance he can actually win that New Japan title as well.
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'm not out of. It's not out of the realm of possibility that we're gonna see Jericho with that IWGP belt. I think it's. Do I think it's likely? No. I think if I had to put money on it, I think Jericho's losing. But this isn't like a lock by any stretch of the imagination.
Chrissy, 2 belts.
Yeah.
I'd pay for it.
Yeah.
That'd be a brand new shirt.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, shit.
If there was a New Japan connection to AEW at that point, I would goddamn to you he's winning that bitch. But there isn't right now. So I agree with you.
It is really cool that we're seeing all this stuff like happening, where it's like we got AEW blowing up with working all these different companies. We got Chris Jericho working over in New Japan. Moxley's heading over there. I mean, this is wild. I love it.
And you know what's crazy is that Jericho is one of the GOATs. He's definitely one of the GOATs. But I think he was right the whole time. Him trying to get Vince. A lot of things would be different right now if Vince would just agreed on things. When he tried to get NXT involved in the Rock and Roll Cruise thing, that didn't go through. Then he proposed the Intercontinental Belt versus Intercontinental Belt, New Japan versus WWE for SummerSlam. That didn't go through. And now look where we're at, a year or so later, and we have AEW and they have all these partnerships. We don't know what really with New Japan. We know Moxley's going over there and shit like that. And we have a strong feeling that he's going to win that US title and bring it to AEW. So that might open the door. And I know the Tonga brothers on Twitter, they were kind of saying like, hey, they wouldn't mind doing some stuff with AEW. So it's a wonderful time right now to be a wrestling fan. And going back to what I was saying, Jericho was probably right. He was trying to open the doors for WWE to try to do different things out of the ordinary and stuff. And I get Vince not okaying NXT to go on that cruise because you look, man, some crazy shit goes down on those boats, and that's the last thing WWE needs. Is some crazy stuff happening on a boat with a lot of their employees. So I get that, but man, Seth Rollins versus Jericho. And they could have built it up, and it could have had a 2-week build up or some shit. But just the thought of a New Japan guy with a New Japan belt on WWE television going against Seth Rollins, I thought that would have been a huge move, and maybe something to start the conversation to have cross branding and shit like that. But now WWE is just everyone's treating WWE like it's fucking WCW 2001. So So at the end, of course, Jericho wins. He cuts a promo, pretty much still asking for a thank you, which he's been asking for a month or so now. And out of nowhere, John Moxley appears. I'm glad that Jim Ross didn't know that he was going to be there. Just listening to the callback on that now, knowing that, makes it okay. Jim Ross is the shit. Like he's Jim Ross, and giving the dirty deeds, which was kind of ugly to Jericho, and then another ugly dirty deeds to a ref, and then him and Kenny Omega fighting outside the ring, and then they get up to the chips. I'm glad they used that because I thought that was like the coolest part of the set, and DDTing him on that, and then throwing him off of it to set up him and I guess Omega at some point,
Real shit. If they wouldn't use those chips as a prop at all, I would have given this show a negative 11 out of 10. Like, no, you don't have those chips on stage and not use them at all. That you don't do that, bro.
It's looking like Moxley Omega is happening at All Out as well.
Oh man, dude! Like I said, I definitely got to get a ticket, man. And I already told my girlfriend I need her to be on her work phone, her personal phone, her laptop. I need to be on all my things. I need to get tickets to All Out. Because Doug, you were at All In, right?
I was. That was second row, actually.
Right.
I lucked out on that one.
Lucky, yeah. I was right by the entrance ramp. And so we were all there, and dude, I think, I don't really go to shows. If it wasn't for Val, I wouldn't go to any of these shows because I don't like being the guy that, especially being around Val, like you get to know these people. And, I kind of want to respect people's privacy and shit because, like I said, they deal with neckbeards all fucking day, telling them, oh my God, man, I saw that match you did. Like they don't want to hear that shit. They want to just go home and or go to the hotel or get some ass or drink or whatever. So I try not to, be, hey, how you doing or whatever. But holy shit, I forgot what the fuck I was about to say. But the point is,
going to shows, All In.
Yeah. Oh yeah, going to the shows. Yeah. So we went to All In. I feel like I have to go to every AEW event that's in Chicago. Like I got to keep the tradition going. All In, All Out, all in the middle, all above, whatever they're gonna call it.
All out of sauce.
Yeah, all out of So like as long as I'm supporting them, man. Like I feel like this is very good. After watching this pay-per-view, this was the first time I felt very happy about wrestling in a very long time. It reminded me of the days of when I was a teenager. So I gotta give kudos to everyone involved over there. And Dean Malenko was the agent on that Jericho and Kenny Omega match. So good to see him doing some work and stuff. And dude, this was definitely give this pay-per-view a 8 out of 10. I give it an 8 out of 10.
I give it an 8.5. If the Bucks would have lost, I'd have gave it a 9.
I guess I'm probably right around there too. I guess I'll go 8.5 around. I probably agree with you guys. But I will say this. One other thing that I hope they take from New Japan, and they seem like they might, is where they maybe have 10 pole shows that are in the same city every year. So like where like Dominion's always in Osaka, Wrestle Kingdom's always in Tokyo, and stuff like that. I would like it if like, hey, they have like a Vegas show Memorial Day weekend every year, and they have a Chicago show in Labor Day weekend every year. Fight for the Fallens in Jacksonville every year, and it's just like they have like these tentpole events that almost like each city can almost like take ownership of, where it's like, this is our event. Like I kind of hope that they keep that, like, because I would like it.
Eventually, I want to chime in on that too. I would not. What we're hoping down here is eventually they get big enough that they're gonna have their own little fucking show, like their own little WrestleMania. But at this point, I want to say it's probably probably the All In series, in the Jacksonville Jaguar Stadium.
Yeah, and I think that they're eventually going to have their big show, and I don't know if I could see them doing something like that annually, and in Jacksonville. Why not?
Yeah, because obviously the Cons own it. There's a reason why it's in the Fight for the Fallen is in a place that only has 5,000 seats compared to we have an arena with 11,000 seats across. Well, I think 11 or 15,000 seats across the way. They're sticking with stuff that they own.
Yeah.
So they're not gonna want to pay for just to be in the place to where they can be like, dude, we got our own stuff. We can be right across the street.
Yeah, not only that, but at the same time, you got to think that, are they going to be able to fill that big building that quickly right afterwards? Especially when WWE, when they're in Jacksonville, they don't necessarily fill up the 11,000 seat building either.
We're pretty good there. I mean, and they cut out because obviously it's 11,000 with the entire arena, and then they set up for the Titantron and everything, so they cut out like a good section of seats. But it fills up pretty decently, not terrible. So I'm not gonna say it can't be done because it can, but I do understand that. So it's like, okay, you could have you had people travel to Chicago, why not? So it's kind of like I get why they did it. So it's just like we have a couple of arenas, but I'd be right down with it. It's like, yo, we're gonna have our own arena show too. It's gonna be right here, and it's gonna be like, oh shit, all right. So
Mike, I'm curious what's gonna look like. What kind of venues are they going to be running once they start going weekly?
That's the same thing. I'm getting ideas too, because hey, that's like, hey, what are we going to do here weekly for this? So it'll be interesting. I'm hyped for it. So I'm definitely hyped for it.
Yeah, I mean they only have so many. Like they could probably fill 5,000 or 4,000 or 5,000 every week if they wanted to in different cities. Fill in a big 10, 11, 12,000 seat arena weekly. I don't know if right off the bat. I don't know. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll definitely have to see about that. I'm very excited about what they got going on, because whatever they're doing is making me not even want to tune in to the other stuff. And like I said, WWE is pretty much like the be all end all. Before I would say Ring of Honor and Impact, we gotta give Impact some props, because they've been doing some good shit, I would say, in the past couple months or so. They've been doing, I know they kind of fumbled on some of the signings and they waited a little bit too late, but they've been doing a good fucking job. MLW is another good one. So man, it's just a great time to be a wrestling fan in whole, man. And the only thing that I'm worried about is just the fans, man. Just with the bullshit that's going on. And then, I saw Jim Cornette say some very nasty things about Sonny Kiss. And he shitted on the pay-per-view, but of course, that's old man syndrome. So it's whatever old man yells at cloud. Jim Cornette,
Cornette has some bad take. Here's the thing with Cornette. I firmly believe that he doesn't believe half the stuff he says. And I think that he just says stuff to get clicks. And because I think he's working, he's a wrestling mind, and he's working his audience because that's what they want. And I don't think he hates the Young Bucks. I don't think he hates Kenny Omega. I think he just knows how to build his audience and get paid, and that's what he does. So in some respect, he's a carny wrestling guy, and I gotta respect him for that. But I honestly don't think he believes half the shit he says.
I would hope not, man. But yeah, so I mean, shit, that's really all about That's about it. I mean, shit. That's really
Hold
Best
on.
of Super Juniors.
Do you
Yeah.
want to do bet? Like, so we got two more things we'll cover because we got Best of Super Juniors. I have the scores right here right now because we're getting into the finals.
Yeah.
And then also, since I know you haven't been paying attention, we also
No, I
have
haven't.
Takeover 25.
Yes. Yeah. Shit. Hell yeah. I'm with it. My bad. I'm tripping. My bad.
We'll run over the Super Juniors real quick because I got it up here.
Mhm.
So first off, we're in, I believe, as of today, night 10. No, we're actually past night 10. We're getting ready to head into the finals, which is on the 5th.
Mhm.
As the standings right now that I know of, we have A Block, Shingo, which is probably my favorite to win Best of the Super Juniors. Shingo leads by 14 points. Tashi Ishimori is in second with 12 points. And this is Block A, by the way. I apologize. Dragon Lee with 10 points. My man Jonathan Gresham with 8 points. Marty Scroll has 8 points. Show of Roppongi 3K has 6 points. Tiger Mask has 4 points. Titan has 4 points. Yoshinbu Kanemaru has 4 points. And Taka Michinoku is at the bottom of the totem pole with 0 points.
Yeah.
In Block B.
And in A, I believe the only ones who are even still in it are Shingo and Ishimori.
Yeah, Shingo and Ishimori are in it, and I believe Dragon Lee, but it's the Block B is where stuff
I think Dragon Lee's out because of the tiebreaker. So
You're
he's
right.
out.
You're right.
He can't win. Yeah.
You're right. Well, where things get more interesting, however, is in Block B. El Phantasmo, which has been a great signing for New Japan. 4-way tie between El Phantasmo, Will Ospreay, Taguchi, which blows my damn mind, and Robbie Eagles all have 10 points going into one of the better nights. So that's going to be interesting. Yo of Roppongi 3K it also has 8 points along with Bushi, 8 points. Bandito, which surprises me because I thought he'd be higher, has 6 points. Rakumero, 6 points. Doki has 2 points, and Ren Narteria has 0, which I believe he is a young boy.
He is.
And see, that's why I'm glad you're on the show, Shaggy, because all of that I wouldn't have been able to say. I wouldn't have been able to do
Some of it is because I've watched it all, but like the young boy, the last dude, I was like, fuck, I don't want to butcher that name, but it's some of that stuff, like rest of that stuff I've seen. Like I've seen all these wrestlers except for like the 2 young boys they put in these matches. So have you been following with the Best of Super Juniors?
Yeah, I keep up with it this is honestly the one year where I was kind of cherry picking it, but I'd say since 2015, I've used to watch it like constantly. I watched every match. But
was 2015? Was it 2015 or 2014? Was that Kyle O'Reilly versus Kushida?
It was actually 2015 and 2016.
Okay,
that was both of them. The 2015 was the one where it was the final.
Yeah, that's the one.
Yeah, that's the final. 2016, they were actually, it was night 1. Okay. And because they were in the same block in 2016.
Yeah, 2015 was the match that got me into the Best of Super Juniors, because that's when Kushida caught O'Reilly from the top rope with a damn. Actually, O'Reilly caught Kushida with a damn Hell's Gate from the top rope, and that shit was amazing. And that whole sequence, I could gush over, but I'm gonna relax on that. Any surprises that you have right now of like who's leading the pack and who isn't?
I'd say that I'm surprised Taguchi, but then I really shouldn't, because Taguchi's right now in that block. It's Ospreay and Taguchi. The other ones that are tied, I think it's like Robbie Eagles and El Phantasmo. They're out because of tiebreakers.
Okay,
like they're out, so it's going to be either Taguchi or Ospreay. And I want to say I always say that it's like, oh, I'm surprised Taguchi's doing well, and I should actually learn, because he always does well in Best of Super Junior, so I don't know why I'm like surprised.
Is it because he's a joke character?
Yeah, I think it's part of his comedy, because it's like because he actually does, he'll pull out some great matches every.
Oh no, he's like I'll go back and remember the matches he had with Fergal Devitt or Prince Devitt at that time. back in the day. Like Taguchi's a really good wrestler. It's just that the dude's a comedy wrestler as well. Comes out with the rugby gig, and then when I know Kushida, one of Kushida's last matches at Wrestle Kingdom, he came out as Doc Brown and all of his interests. So yeah, no, I get it. It's like we shouldn't be surprised, but we are. It's like fucking being surprised when Yano wins anything.
Yeah, and I'm willing to bet that. Okay, I'm pretty sure. I think first of all, I agree. I think Shingo should go the whole way.
Yes.
I think he should just go completely undefeated in this tournament. He does not. He does not need to take any losses right now.
None.
I would be fine with that. I could see. I could see the final being Shingo Will Ospreay, and Shingo putting away Ospreay, and then maybe Ospreay is done with the junior division.
That'll be a good way out too, yeah. Because I'm with you on that. Because Shingo should not lose any of these matches whatsoever. He's my favorite to win. Bandito was my favorite to win. Then when Shingo got announced, I was like, oh no, I was like, no fucking way, because I didn't think he'd be a fucking Super Junior. But hey, all right, whatever works. But no, that's who I'm with too. I would definitely tune in for a fucking Will Ospreay Shingo final. Because that would be different styles Marriott and Shingo would treat him like a rag doll in some aspects.
Yeah, I love Shingo.
I am curious to see if we're going to get on the final night, if we're going to see the emergence of Hiromu Takahashi.
I hope, man. It's been so long. He should be clear now, right?
I think he's cleared. I think they're just waiting at this point. But that would seem like a good spot for him to maybe pop up and, I don't know, maybe set up something for Dominion. Who knows?
Probably help Shingo win because they're stable mates.
Yeah, because that's the other thing. If Shingo wins, let's say, I mean, they're not. If Shingo wins, they're not going to do Shingo versus Hiromu just because New Japan doesn't do that. Nah. That's not something they do. So, so we'll see. It'll be interesting. The only other thing I could see is maybe Shingo loses to Dragon Lee, and then at that point Hiromu comes out. Mm-hmm. And at Dominion, I'm getting ahead of myself because we don't even know if Shingo's winning this thing.
Exactly. We just got favorites, man. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it.
But it would be great to go back and use this as a reference if that does happen, though. So
yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what was the other thing we want to cover? TakeOver.
So the last thing we're going to do is we're going to touch on TakeOver 25. In NXT, this is in, I believe, this is in Connecticut. So obviously it's only 5 matches on the card right now. So we got obviously we have our 1 beef match and then 4 title matches. So let's get on to it, and we'll predict, and then we'll go on with our merry lives. First off, you got Matt Riddle versus Roderick Strong in just a regular singles match. Who you got, Doug?
I'd want to say Riddle, but no, I'll go with Riddle. Why not? I'm a Riddle guy. Mm-hmm. I haven't been keeping up with NXT TV lately, so I'm kind of going in this one a little bit blind, but I'm going to stick with Riddle.
Okay. Pat?
I want to say Riddle as well. I feel like Undisputed is going to obviously do something crazy and it's going to cause more friction because the last time I saw it, they were kind of, chomping at each other. So I'm going to go with Riddle.
All right. And we're all 3 going with Riddle because Riddle did the last TakeOver. Riddle lost to Velveteen Dream. And so I'm saying he gets his win back here. Also, I believe they're also trying to put him in the main title picture as well. So that's what I get from here. Speaking of titles, let's go to our first title defense for the night. Velveteen Dream versus Tyler Breeze for the North American Championship. Doug?
Well, from what I understand, Tyler Breeze is back in NXT full time now. Like he's actually an NXT talent.
Good for him.
Yes, I agree. And if that's the case, and he's going to be there a while, I don't see an issue with Velveteen Dream winning here and then maybe moving up if the time is good. I think that I would do that actually. But then I guess they could also have him lose on his way up. I don't know. I guess this one can go either way. But either way, I think the Velveteen Dream's time in NXT has come to an end.
Oh man,
Pat, what say you?
I think Velveteen Dream holds on to that title. I think it's a feel good story that Tyler Breeze is back, but I think the Dream has some just a little bit left. I think SummerSlam takeover. I guess I think that's when we'll see Dream go up. So I'm gonna go with Dream.
I'm gonna make a change. I'm definitely saying Tyler Breeze now.
I'm definitely going with Tyler Breeze here. When I heard that he's in NXT indefinitely, I was like, oh yeah, nah, there's a good chance he can beat Dream for that belt in an upset. And they have another run back in August for that title, and that pretty much ends Dream's reign in NXT.
Yeah.
I think I'd be okay with Dream just leaving then. Like he loses that one and he's gone.
See, I say that, and the reason why I say I'd rather wait because they probably won't do any more call-ups like that until Fox for SmackDown.
Yeah, it's true.
So like you want to build that up because like you can just have them like, hey, back and forth. You're not getting another takeover for a while, so might as well just build that up, and then they just bring it back. Velveteen loses again. Just go, that's a swan like Raw or SmackDown, preferably SmackDown for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
So I'll go with that.
I'm staying with mine. I'm staying.
So we got 2 Breeze and we got 1 Dream. All right.
Yeah.
The next match, we have a ladder match for the NXT Tag Team Championship. That is Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch, the Street Profits, Undisputed Era, and the Forgotten Sons. Doug, who you got?
I kind of want to go with Oney Lorcan and Danny Burch. I don't know if they're necessarily the favorite, just because I haven't been following it super closely.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I think this is a time to move away from Undisputed Era. They've been with that for a while. I think that Street Profits, I think they're still in Evolve, aren't they?
They are more predominantly. So I've been following NXT here. I just like you guys. I kind of cherry pick when I watch NXT, but just for takeover purposes, I've watched the last 4. Every tag team has been getting their shine. To your credit, Pat, Undisputed Era have squashed that beef because they, over this last takeover, all the tag teams came out. Undisputed Era came out and they stomped everybody out and was like undisputed. So they kind of like rectify that. The Forgotten Sons could be a team to watch because that's also a team that's kind of been getting a hell of a push tag team wise. But everybody looks strong here. So you have no idea who could win. But Pat, I kind of have a feeling I know who you're gonna pick. But go ahead.
Oh, Street Profits.
Yep, that's what I thought.
Yeah, I think it's time, man. Montez Ford, Angelo Dawkins. I think it's time, and I'm with my buddy on Twitter, Ben. He said that in a couple years we're going to see Montez Ford headline WrestleMania. I'm with it, and I'm not high.
I am going to say Street Profits as well because it's time for them. They don't have to hold that belt. They don't have to hold those belts long.
Yeah, they don't have
to. They can either, if they don't win here and they get a shot again, it'll be a takeover in Toronto. But I think they'll win this match. And the way I also see it is the Forgotten Sons will probably be their next opponents that they face.
Yeah, because they did have the beat down. Like, didn't they like whoop their ass on the ramp this past?
Yeah, and then this past week, they like chin checked the dude. Actually, you're probably looking at a GIF from that we saw a video that was played this week. They chin checked one of the members of the Forgotten Sons, and they stomped him out. and then went from there. But that's when Undisputed Era came out and like wrecked everything. So yeah, we going only. So we got one for Orkin and Birch, and then both of us for Street Profits. I definitely think that's the time. I'm with Doug on this, saying Undisputed Era is pretty much done here. If they win, it's only because of merch. I'm just gonna say that right now. But that's pretty much it. Second to last, we have our NXT Women's Championship, which is Shayna Baszler versus Io Shirai.
I think it's Shayna's time. She's had this belt for. She had it longer than Asuka at this point.
Yeah.
I think.
Well, no, because she lost it and got it back.
Oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, so it was like
got it back, so it kind of stopped.
Okay, I think this could be it for her. Here's the thing. It's like I know that people are going to be coming up in Fox, and I feel like they got to stagger it. So if Velveteen Dream is sticking around for a little bit longer, maybe this is the time to bring up Shayna, because I feel like they got to. No, I shouldn't say. They always bring people up a bunch at a time. I shouldn't say they won't, but I either way, I feel like I'm going to be saying this every single time until she loses the belt at this point, because she's had it for so long. But I think it's time for her. I think it's time for her to move up.
Yeah. I agree.
I think so.
I agree.
I'm with you.
I agree for that. I don't know, like right now, because they're pushing Candice. Shayna's like your biggest heel currently. So I don't know until they start building up other women.
Who is another heel that they have in NXT right now?
You want me to be honest with you? The next heel that they have would probably be I'm looking at her. I'm looking at her face and I can't think of her name. Montez's wife.
Oh, Bianca Belair.
Yeah, and that's not even a heel.
She should. Here's the thing. She should be a heel. I don't like.
Definitely. There's heel tactics there, but right now, like the way she performs in the ring, people can't hate it.
Yeah, I'm someone who it took me a while to get. Like she's obviously very good and very athletic, but she's someone who always took me a little while to really get into. Wasn't a big fan of the hair whip thing. I know, like I'm in the minority on that, and a lot of people really like it. But I just feel like I don't buy her as a babyface at all.
Nah, she's kind of like one of those tweeners. Like it's funny, like it's one of those guys that you can't. They reach that level of like you're not gonna boo them no matter what they do. Like a Randy Orton, except Randy knows the type. Randy knows how you can boo him. Bray Wyatt, Edge. But she's reaching that level of like no matter what I do, you're not gonna boo me unless I'm beating the shit out of Candice LeRae. That's it.
Yeah.
So right as of now, there's no real big female heel outside of Shayna right now.
I guess Shayna's little lackeys.
That's it. But you figure they
can't carry a belt though. Yeah, they can't carry that division.
Shayna would come. Shayna, like if Shayna comes up, they're probably coming up with her. So
yeah, that's an issue then.
Yeah, it's an issue. Who you got, Pat?
Baszler's gone. She's losing the title.
So you go.
She's out of there. Yep.
So I'm thinking Shayna retains and loses. I'm thinking she retains and loses at Takeover in Toronto. Only reason because shenanigans. They're gonna have Candice LeRae is gonna be there in Shirai's corner, and I'm like, I'm thinking shenanigans happens there. But Takeover in Toronto, she drops that belt. That's just me personally. But you guys I'm down with what you guys think. But at the same time, I'm like, hey.
I think that you're making a solid point about them not having if they don't have another heel to put Io against if she wins, that's somewhat credible. It's not. Yeah, I don't see how they're going to be able to.
I mean,
pull
who
that
are you
off.
going to turn? Candace? I mean, you could.
That'd be a hell of a turn, but I don't know.
But that'll be rough. I've never seen that'll be rough because outside of Johnny, it's I've never seen Candace be a heel. But hey, whatever works. Speaking of heels, Candace, last but not least, our main event of the evening. Johnny Gargano versus Adam Cole for the NXT Men's Championship.
Doug,
who you got?
I'm gonna say Adam Cole. I think Adam Cole is gonna he's still gonna be around in NXT for a bit. I would go with Adam Cole. I think Johnny Gargano's done all he can do at this point. That's what I would do. And I'm someone. Here's the thing. It's I enjoy Johnny Gargano. I haven't enjoyed much of his. I haven't enjoyed many of his main events after the Almas match. I didn't really care. I'm not as high on his Ciampa stuff, as the Gargano Ciampa matches as everyone else is.
Interesting.
I know, and it's I know that once again I'm really in the minority on that, but
man, you're good.
But I think it's time for Gargano to move up. I mean, this is.
Yeah,
he's been there because here's the thing. It's not even like he's just been there. When the Cruiserweight Classic happened, he was already working NXT.
Mm-hmm.
He was already doing tag matches, and he was working preliminary stuff on NXT while he was working the Indies. He had they would bring him in every now and then. So he's been in NXT. And I'm this isn't hyperbole. He's been in there for almost 4 years at this point.
Yeah, he's been there for a minute. Yeah.
So it's at some point he's got to go.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I won't give my winner here. I'll wait. Pat, what about you?
I'm going to go with Adam Cole as well. I think that Gargano has done everything that he could in NXT, and there's really no feud I want to see him have at this point, unless they move up Matt Riddle or some shit. But yeah, I think he's done everything that he could, and it's Adam Cole's time.
I agree. And once again, I agree with both of you here. I'm also picking Adam Cole. Originally, beforehand, I actually had Adam Cole losing this match due to undisputed shenanigans. But after thinking about it, I'm and with Matt Riddle being poised to take on the next person for the NXT Championship, you're not going to, if you're trying to make Adam Cole credible, you're not going to have him lose twice.
Yeah.
I think that he's not credible, but if you want to have him credible as a singles wrestler, you're not going to have him lose twice. However, here's the thing that's killing me, and this is one of the reasons why I almost picked Gargano in the first place. This is a guy who not only took one finisher, he took 4 finishers from that whole squad, and he still won.
Yeah.
So, granted, I know making your champion look strong is good, but if Adam Cole could not beat him in that match, which is clearly going to help him to win, I have a little bit of hesitation thinking that Adam's going to win in that department by himself.
Yeah.
And that being said, I'm still picking him to win.
Yeah, I'm about to say, it don't matter. I'm still
picking him to win. That's just how I feel. But that's just how I feel about that situation. You mean to tell me that this dude couldn't beat this dude cheating, and you expect me to have him believe that he can beat this dude one-on-one by himself?
Right. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Adam Cole as well.
No, I'm still going to Adam Cole. The house takes Cole, baby.
Yes, for sure. So I guess that wraps up everything that we covered. And I'm pretty sure Double or Nothing has had us we're fucking exhausted and tired, and we hope with all this crazy stuff that's happened all this week with the Moxley podcast and the Double or Nothing pay-per-view, that WWE is actually sitting back and probably they got a come up with a game plan and try to win the people over, man. Because and I know we're not going to cover it tonight with Raw and SmackDown, but from what I saw from it, it looked like it was a stinker. So like I said, it's always a pleasure, Doug, having you on the show. And can you let everyone know about Transcribing E, which I am a Patreon member.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so let the people know about that.
Yes. So this is a little side project of mine where I am transcribing episodes of Being the Elite for people who have hard of hearing. I have what I do is I have a transcription service that I use. I've been just paying out of pocket for the services, and it usually costs around $100 a month. So what I'm basically trying to do is get 40 people who are willing to contribute $3 a month, and then that after fees and everything, that should cover it more or less. And I'm about a quarter of the way there, so we're doing really well. So if you want to come check it out, you go to the Twitter. It's just Transcribing E, the letter E. So it's at Transcribing E, or you can go to patreon.com/transcribing elite and come check it out. And all the transcriptions of what I've done now is I've actually just captioned the videos. So you just go there and look at the captioned videos. All those are available for free. So it's not like you need to pay to get the transcription. So if you're someone who just needs the transcription services, they are free. So please if you know anyone who is hard of hearing, please forward them to those services and they can take advantage of it.
Yeah, definitely, man. That is important. I think we need more of that in the just because fans want to be able to enjoy things without I guess the pressure of all right. What I'm trying to say is it's a good thing to have that because we need it. Plain and simple. We just need it. I think
there's enough barriers. There's enough barriers up. We're just trying to take them down.
Yeah, for sure.
We're building bridges to the product for people who normally can't get there.
Yeah, for sure. So, man, this has been an episode of the ages. Man, this has actually been a fun ass episode. I wish we could have done it earlier and stuff like that because I am like running low on energy because I haven't drunk anything. I haven't smoked my devil's lettuce or anything. So, once again, man, Doug, man, it was definitely a pleasure having you on the show.
Absolutely.
And you're welcome anytime, dude. Because
thank you. I love coming on. It's a lot of fun. If anyone, and also my Twitter, my normal Twitter, if you want to follow me for wrestling stuff, it's at skeech101.com. That's SKEACH101.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like I said, I always enjoy you, man, because there are some guys out there that just do some very corny shit and stuff like that, and you're not one of them, man. I definitely appreciate that, man.
I always try to err on the side of less corny.
Yes, for sure. Any parting words, Shaggy?
Nope. Normally I want to start doing a match of the week here, but I fuck it. Match of the week here. Go back and watch Juventud Guerrera versus Chris Jericho, Super Brawl 98, Mask versus Title.
That was on the show. Was that on the show that had Jay Leno and Diamond Dallas Page versus Hogan and Bischoff?
I cannot remember. I was like, I love that particular match because I thought it was sold out, but I forgot that was Rey Mysterio versus Chris Jericho.
Yeah,
it's WCW NWO versus sold out. So
that is crazy. I'm gonna have to find that match somewhere because I currently don't have WWE Network. So I want to wait until after the Saudi show.
I call it NXT. I call it the NXT Network. So
yeah, for sure. And I got to get back on there because they're putting a lot of performance center stuff out there that I want to check out. So
okay, throw one more thing in real quick.
Yeah, sure.
Just got me thinking about this. During the Saudi Arabia show, Pro Wrestling Eve, the women's promotion based out of London, they're going to be streaming some women. They're going to be streaming some stuff from their promotion during the entire show. So if you don't want to watch the Saudi Arabia show, you can go over to Pro Wrestling Eve and watch some awesome women's wrestling since they're not allowed to be there.
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna check that out, man.
Yeah.
And
Just Google Eve
like I
on Demand. You should find it.
yeah. Yeah, it's always a pleasure, man. Like I said, you're welcome anytime. And that wraps up the Double or Nothing Fallout scheduled for one fall, and we are done. All right.